You just have your leg up, like, like, they shouldn't be present, innit? Like, you gotta try, you gotta back that up, like.
You'll go to a different woman and be like, oh yeah, she gave birth really good, so I'll like be attracted to her.
My wife's having a baby and I'm like down the stadium watching a football game. I deserve to be like, beaten by every member of my family.
It's necessary because it's life or death, not just for the woman but also for the child.
So I don't want you seeing that. Like, you need to be back down there one day. I'm not trying to scar you for life.
Damn! Hello and welcome to another episode of the 411. Today's episode is: should partners be obliged to watch or be present for the delivery of their child? Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go round the room or round the sofa and get to know today's cast and what their opinion on today's topic is.
Hi, my name is Hamza and I believe that men should be present at the birth.
Hello, my name's Christine Dancy and I do believe that men should be present.
Hi, I'm Daisy and I agree that they should be present.
Hi, I'm Lauren and I disagree. I don't think you should be obliged to be present.
My name's Anand and I don't think that they should be present.
I'm Toby. I don't think the partner should be obligated to be there in the room for the birth of the child.
Wow, Anna, you kind of said it with a bit of a confidence. You just have your leg up, like, like, they shouldn't be present, innit? Like, you gotta try, you gotta back that up. Like, let's see, what are you saying? Talk to us.
Back it up. Well, back it up sounds like you want something like scientific proof. So
twerk it when I say back up. Twerk the point. Come, let's talk to me.
So yeah, there's one thing is up until the 70s, it was just normal place that the husband would actually not be there. I mean, there's a famous book or TV show or something where, you know, the guy was actually sent to a bar to have drinks so that he wouldn't be at home when the wife was crying, because it's seen as a bit where the husband shouldn't need to see this thing. And then after the 70s, it began to change where wives were given the choice of like they want their husbands by their side. But the thing is, I'm not a woman myself, just to put that out there.
Really?
Yeah, just in case you were concerned. But for them to be in like the ideal situation to give birth naturally, they need to be fully relaxed, right? No anxiety, because it's the oxytocin which helps deliver the baby. That means that they need to be relaxed. If their anxiety is high, then their adrenaline is high, and that prevents oxytocin. So like when the husband is in the room, the husband's obviously anxious because it's their wife, and they're like asking these questions like, are you okay? Like, you know, you see in these movies, like they're gripping their hand, it's like, you'll be fine, like you're doing great, like don't worry, how are you feeling? And it's like all that is disrupting the woman's natural feeling to be relaxed and deliver the baby normally. So when the husband's there, it actually takes longer and it's more grieving for both parties. It's more difficult for their delivery. So, you know, why have the husband there?
Is that scientific? Like when the husband is there, you stress more? Or
well, you know, that bit is just a natural response that happens.
Not necessarily, right? Because if it's my husband, then I would expect for him to be there, a part of the process, and a part of the process means dealing with not only the medical professionals who are trained to induce that type of oxytocin and that comfortable state for me to deliver, and my husband will be once again present not only for the birth but that entire process. And if he is my husband, then there is a certain relaxation that he should bring when he's in that room as well.
I feel like you might actually be more comfortable with someone being there, like making sure that you're okay and stuff like that. So I don't know how scientific that is, but I feel like you'd be more comfortable, like he's there for me, I'm holding his hand while whatever's going on.
But as of right now, the partner can be in the room. So why force it into you must be in the room?
Oh, that's it. Okay. I think.
Well, why wouldn't a man want to be in the room? Just playing devil's advocate, of course.
For the exact reason of the stress and anxiety, like it is a gruesome thing to go through, right? And I'm not saying the husband should be in the hospital or the area, or you know, if it's done in the house, they should be present, but they shouldn't have to be there to watch it, because you know all guys are different, and you know some guys can't even see blood on TV or something, right? So a pregnancy is probably the most gruesome thing you're going to see the person you love go through. So
it's
if they can't,
see, but
the thing is,
it's even more traumatic to go through and feel. And not only are we going through a physical process, but it's an emotional and psychological change that you go through while the 9 months while you're carrying the baby, and then there's the actual process, and then some women not some women, all women go through an after and post process.
And that's why
you have the very least that you can do is be present in that moment.
But that's why you have the professional, right?
Yeah, I think the majority of men would want to be there, but saying you're obligated to be there is a big statement. that's if men do suffer with mental health issues or anything like that, you can get PTSD from watching something like that. Not just men, women as well. Like, I pass out at a blood test, but if I give birth, I'm going to have to do it. But I could not watch someone else. That one born every minute makes me want to pass out.
So accepted that it can be quite a traumatic process, but giving birth compared to having a baby and
women
bringing
can't
up
decide
children,
that. Yeah.
that's as well. So like bringing up a child is a gruesome process. You have to be ready for it. So if you're going to have a partner go through 9 months of difficulty and then you're not going to be there when it's the hardest bit, it's sort of you're letting them down. Now, fair enough if you've agreed with your partner. I can't see blood, I don't want to be in there, and they say yes, that's for them to choose. But for them to be 100% comfortable around people they don't know, touching areas where they don't like to be touched, you've got to be there and be their ground. So maybe you're dysfunction to the area, you can be asked to be escorted out, but as well as try to be as best you can with them.
Yeah. But where men can't relate as well, for me personally, I would rather have my mum or my sister in the room. I just think, also, I don't want you seeing that. Like, you need to be back down there one day. I'm not trying to scar you for life.
Damn! That's an actual study that, like, I think like 40% of, or maybe even higher, of men experience a significant loss of sexual attraction to their partner after pregnancy. And I'm not like, I'm not saying
marriage in general.
Yeah. I'm not saying I back it. I'm not saying I back it. It's definitely guys being like a bit wussy about it, but it is just, and that's like, it's not just guys being wussy, it's like a scientific thing, like it just happens, right? Because for a lot of guys still, and I'm hoping it does change, but there needs to be a divide between reproductive and sexual, because it comes from the same organ. By making them see it, you're pushing it towards like that. You're almost pushing it towards that sexual loss.
I guess.
But I feel like when you're saying that they might be less attracted, isn't that kind of? I see that as like people don't. It's because a lot of guys don't actually know how much a woman goes through when they're giving birth and stuff like that. And I feel like it would actually help to change like. Maybe the guy might be. I'm not saying guys aren't interested when someone's having a baby, but it might just help them be more like. Interested to learn more about it, because the way I see it is that like the women usually, not always, but will be the ones who's the main reading all the baby books and everything like that, and the guy knows that the woman has that, like, you can teach, like they can learn from each other with it. But I feel like a lot of guys don't even know that full-term pregnancy is actually like 10 months, not 9 months. It's seen as 40 weeks, which is 10 months. And some guys won't even like know that, like even after a pregnancy, what a woman has to go through. And seeing as like, it takes two to tango and everything, but I just feel like a lot of it might change the perspective of some guys knowing how much a woman has to go through. It's not even their choice. Like if you want to have a baby, we learn we have to go through this to be able to have a baby.
I think all that educational stuff should be there. I just don't think the actual being in the room thing. But I agree with all the other stuff.
So just playing devil's advocate, I'm completely impartial here, so I'm not on anyone's side. However, let's just say, for example, touch wood, this happens to nobody.
Yeah, I have to touch.
I don't want to be the one to call.
Let's just say, you're in a relationship and your partner has an accident and she goes into a coma. She has to have a major brain surgery. In that situation, should you go to the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, go to the hospital and then.
Oh, would you be present in the hospital for that operation?
Watch brain surgery.
Well, to support, not to watch the brain surgery over the surgeon, but are you present in the vicinity?
Yeah,
present?
Definitely.
So I guess that's a major operation, right? And a woman going through childbirth is a major operation. So what's the difference?
So for me, it's down to. Presumably, when you're talking about the brain operation, they're unconscious at this point, right? You can't say, do you want me?
No. Yes.
Some
correct.
of them can be conscious.
No, I'm talking about this hypothetical situation. The difference is, as I stressed earlier, at the moment, you can ask your husband or partner to be in the room with you, but there shouldn't be a forced situation.
With the brain surgery? You mean for the brain surgery?
No, for the pregnancy.
You have to bring it back to that. But the difference is if the patient's unconscious, there is no, can you please be with me? Can you not be in the same room with me? So that's your own decision as well.
That's it. I think morally you should definitely be in the hospital. But if you're not the type of person that, if that will scar some people for life, watching someone have a baby. Not everyone can do it, and I do appreciate that. Yeah, it does take two to tango, and you should be offering that support. But you could be outside the door. Like, I don't think you need to watch.
So yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you know, in the future, my wife's having a baby, and I'm like down the stadium watching a football game, I deserve to be like beaten by every member of my family. But you know, I need to be in the hospital. That my wife needs to know I'm present and I'm fully there, and I should be educated for sure with all of the stuff. But why put myself where I could then have more trauma that makes it more difficult with the wife, or I lose sexual attraction because you know I see stuff that I shouldn't.
Someone said "my God" over here.
So delivering a child is a very risky procedure that I don't think that we talk about often enough in everyday life, similar to what you were saying in terms of educating the guy about what actually happens. And so I recently, I believe the guy's name was Charles Thompson, but he was actually present, right? And so he talked about the going through the childbirth and the entire thing, and then after the child was birthed, he noticed that there was blood flowing through his wife's catheter, and he told the doctors, and like they were like, okay, well, we'll do a CAT scan immediately. And immediately ended up being 4 hours later. And these type of and ultimately the wife ended up dying. This happens all of the time. And so oftentimes the woman is under, depending on the type of childbirth that you go through, but oftentimes the women are under a lot of drugs, and so you aren't necessarily conscious because you're trying to reduce pain as much as possible. So it is necessary to have hopefully the husband there. I mean, at this point, you know, at this stage where we exist, it's necessary, I think, to have someone there.
Is it necessary or beneficial?
It's necessary because it's life or death, not just for the woman, but also for the child.
I feel like, do you think if it was the other way around, right? Okay, because we didn't choose that we're the ones who have the babies.
True.
If it was men who were to have the babies and go through, like, I don't think people realize how much you have to go through for a whole almost a year. Like when you're just doing a simple thing as much as having a baby. If it was the other way around, I feel like men would really want someone there who they love to like make sure they're comfortable. I actually feel like they've done these like fun tests to see men endure the pain of childbirth. They can't even do it because they're literally like, they were like crying so much, or like even just to get the pain of contractions and stuff, they can't handle it. But it's just,
by the way, there's a brilliant video of Piers Morgan.
The Piers Morgan, literally the Piers Morgan one. And
I appreciate sort of the moral support a person can have for a partner going through childbirth. But let's just say the connection you have with your partner isn't one where they're always encouraged and they complain a lot, they're very annoying. In that situation, do you not think it'd be better for the partner to stay outside to not, again, make you more anxious and
when I say
all
like
that stuff?
I think it's better to just get a new partner, if I'm honest.
That is
when
true,
we
though.
say
We
like
don't all have, like, a
obligated,
fairy tale.
when I say like obligated, okay, I think that I'm not saying that they need to be like staring at the baby and everything that's going on. I'm saying like present, like you could be sitting next to them, holding their hand, make sure that, you know, just hearing, I feel like in a situation like that, hearing my husband's voice, and this is husband's like partner, it's not a random guy that you just had a baby with, or it's not like just random baby daddies, it's like someone that maybe you're actually thinking to bring this child up with. And I think that personally I would feel comfort in hearing their voice, even if whatever they're saying. And like I just feel like they don't need to be staring at what's going on, but just to be in the room and know what I went through to bring up our child and to even have the baby would be like comfort for me.
So that's like something I agree with as well. So like, fair enough, looking at the entire process straight down the barrel of the gun, it's a little bit, but like being next to them is a good one. But then another thing is 30% less sexual attraction. Women aren't like, sorry, you guys are princesses, but you aren't princesses in the way like you're not perfect. You guys do a shit every now and again. Like there's things that men realize when they're in a relationship that changes things, but you don't lose that attraction. You are attracted to the personality, not the like physical.
The point is that the physical attraction, like it's been proven that it's happened, right? And you know, like I said, up until the 70s, the guy wasn't present. It's, you know, something's changed where, you know, we're getting into a more pro-choice world. So there's a reason before that the guy was told to stay. By stay away, I mean not in the presence, because of the anxiety, because of the the literal scientific and psychological changes that happen.
Do you
Well,
think in
it
that...
was also because it was a cultural difference, and
Yeah.
so the role that guys played in the family was different than the roles that women played in the family, because our roles in society was different. So back in the 70s, I mean, I don't know whether it was here the same here, but like 50s and 60s, women were child rearers, and that was our primary and only duty.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, I feel like kind of what you're excusing is a boys will be boys mentality, and so it's okay for the guy to be away and smoke his cigar and drink
Not
his,
away, for
his
sure. I agree.
whiskey.
No, yeah, not. I think not as far as away, like being sent to the bar, but you know, for the benefit of the woman being like as fully at peace as she can, because you can't control how your husband's going to act in that situation. You know, they could be the most calm person. You know, some of the most calm people, something will make them freak out, and that you don't want it to be at the birth, right? Because it's not just a birth, but even for the placenta to come through, right? It all depends on your hormonal balance of how smooth that is.
But even like physical attraction, it's not as if like it's not as if like you'll leave her because she gave birth in a weird way. You'll go to a different woman and be like, oh yeah, she gave birth really good, so I'll like be attracted to her. Do you know what I mean? Everyone, it's like horrible no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
I agree.
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It is
It's a
horrible.
transformation.
No, but I'm
It
just saying,
shouldn't be
like, I thought you were saying in the way of like,
It's not for
because they're going to
some,
get put off it, they might get put off it and not see you in a proper way. I feel like if it's
No, but
more
some guys
normalised,
psychologically will not.
if it's more
Not
normalised
consciously,
that like
subconsciously.
this
It's
is
a
how you give
transformation.
a baby, like this is actually the
Guys,
truth of how you give a
well,
baby.
So let's just say that in a relationship, the woman was the person enforcing, I want you to be there. You're obliged to be there. You have to be at the birth. You have to be at the birth for your son, your daughter, whoever it is. I want you there. In that instance, does the man then have a choice to say, do you stand for that right for a man to say, I don't want to be there?
I think
So in that instance,
all the reasons, everything Daisy said was really true, and most for that, all of those reasons, and that most men would want to be. If there's any reason why they didn't, they couldn't or didn't, then they shouldn't be obligated to do that. It might be like mental health things or something. Like it might be that you know it's gonna kind of mess you up a bit. Men do get PTSD from watching stuff like this as well. I think that.
but how about if that excuse or that reason wasn't enough for the partner, the person, or the woman?
Then that's on
baby?
their relationship, because I think that if you're communicating all of these things, then that would make your partner want to be there for you. Unless there was a very good reason, in which case you shouldn't be obligated like that.
Oh, you go for it. I'll go.
I feel like if you were not even willing to try, then maybe, I'm not saying like everyone would not be ready to have a baby, but I feel like if you're not even willing to like be open to that and try, then I don't feel like a man is ready to bring up a child and have everything for 18 years of what comes with bringing a child up. Like, because like it's not like, as I said before, it's not like you're like staring at what's going on. Like just presence, even if you look away, even if you're just there, like making sure someone's fine. I just think that it, personally for me, if someone wouldn't even be open to the conversation or willing to like try and be there and support me on it, then I don't think that I just think like if it was switched around in a different situation, whatever it is, and I really didn't want to see what was going on, but someone said like I really would appreciate if you were there to support me, I would be like, yeah, of course, because if I have to look away, even if I have to like, you know, close my ears and be like, let me just 5 minutes out and I'll come back and like ask if you're okay, I would want to be there, and I feel like a lot of other people would feel the same. So
I just want to add, I think that, yeah, I agree with actually both sides on this, but I think in the question that you're asking, the midwife or whoever's in charge, the professional should have the overriding say, because in any, you go on a plane and your baby's crying, but the plane is taking off. The baby wants to crawl around. It can't crawl around because for the safety, it needs to be, you listen to the professional. The pilot is saying stay. So if the woman wants the husband to be there and the husband's unsure, I think the professional should take charge, because it is their job. That is what they're there for, to deliver the baby. So if the midwife says that
mid-husband, believe me.
Mid-husband.
Mid-husband.
That the husband looks like he is going to be an interference in this delivery, then he or she should be allowed to control that and be like, the husband should actually leave.
Okay, 100%. That's a good point. Yeah. But then so is that just like determined on how the person's mental health is or something like that? Like, because obviously there's a lot of husbands who have been there present and nothing's happened, like it's been fine. But I do get, that's a good point though, like maybe if they deemed them like not like safe enough to be around the wife or whatever, but I just...
Well, it's often circumstantial as well. If it's a, you know, if you have to be rushed into a delivery, maybe a C-section or something, they're not going to be like, yeah, you take your time to gown up and then meet us in the operating theatre. They're just going to be like, get out of the way, we'll take care of it, you know?
Yeah. So. I think that the reason why laws like that, well, I don't know if it'll be a law, but laws like this should be in place is the same way that we have like laws in regards to like child support in place, because there is a lack of connectivity that men experienced versus women experience, and it stems from, first of all, the physiological connection that we literally have with the child that you guys don't have. So I think that putting you guys in a space where you have to be connected from the onset of this child entering to this world, it can hopefully.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
It needs to be by force.
But it's not by. This child is happening, and you were a part of the creation of this child, and so we don't have a choice. Therefore, you shouldn't have a choice.
This is an amazing debate, and we're going to continue this offline because definitely, I think there's a lot to go back on.
I was going to ask about surrogacy. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, for another topic for next time. What we're going to do is we're going to go round the sofa and just sort of get everyone's sort of perspective. Has it changed? Is it the same? And we'll see. We'll take it from there. Hamza.
So I started off thinking that they should be present. I don't think it should be a law, but I think you yourself should feel you should be present.
I think that men should be obligated to be there. I think that, like I said in my last point, I think that they were an eminent part of creating this being brought into the world, and there's things that women have to go through that men should, at the very least, show up.
I still agree. I don't think they should be like held against their will, but I feel like they should feel like it would be nice for them to be there.
I really agree with so many of the points that you guys have made. I personally wouldn't want my man in the room, but I don't think it should be obligated. I don't think it should be by force.
Okay. Yeah, I just think, birth is not a new thing. It's been around since the day one. Can we agree on that? Yeah. And just for something to change in the last 50 years, it doesn't make sense. And because there's the science and psychological evidence to back up, 100% the person should be close enough that the wife feels like my husband's here to support, but not in the room just because of the impact it can have.
I keep my original opinion, to be honest. I think it's definitely circumstantial, and entirely it's entirely the option of both parents. I didn't get a chance to quickly chip in with my one, but I do think with the if the mother's asking the partner to be in the room, I think you probably should.
Know what's good for you.
Yeah. If you value your own life, you do it.
Fantastic. What do I think? Who cares what I think? What do you guys think is what's most important? So, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, with your family. Come again, and thank you for watching another episode of 411.
Did you guys change the name again?
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Pat from Crash Club. As always, we never mean to offend anybody, so we apologise up front if we have. At the end of the day, what we're here to do is inspire thought-provoking conversation and generate discussions and debates for our wider community. If you haven't already done so, please like, share and subscribe, and make sure you join the debate in the comment section below. Also, follow all of our other pages and join in. Thanks for watching, guys.